Here we go. So today we are properties of functions, intervals of freeze. Intervals of increase, decrease, and constant. Okay. Main thing I want you to remember with intervals is that we're not saying is it equal at this point. Okay. So that means when we're using intervals, everything is going to be strictly greater than, strictly less than, and parentheses used. Okay. All right. So let's start here. So increasing from left to right means it's going up. Decreasing from left to right means it's going down, and constant means it's staying the same. So you should have this graph on your paper. This is the graph that we're using the entire time to analyze. Capiche? All right. So it says, where is the function increasing? So as we look at this function, we are reading and we see, okay, this is not an increase. Is this an increase? Okay. Is this an increase? Is this an increase? No. So we've identified all the places that it's increasing, right? The places where it increased for us are connected. Do you see that? Okay. Even though the rate of increase may not be the same, it's still just an increase. It didn't say where is it increasing it exactly at the same rate. It's just saying where is it increasing. Okay. Now remember this, X marks the spot. Got it? X marks the spot. So when you're doing this, all you're looking at is the X value. Do not give me the Y value. X marks the spot. X is our independent. So when I start here, what is the X value that I start at? When I end here, what is the X value I stop at? 0. Those are the values of my interval. I'm glad you asked. You can write it in inequality notation from negative infinity to 0. X is greater than -4, but less than 0 is a point of increase. You also can write it in interval notation. -4, 0. Okay. Either one of these is telling you your interval of increase. So again, even though they increase at a different rate, they still are increasing together. Make sense? That's why it's just one. All right. How do we feel about identifying intervals of increase? Right. Yes.
Why is it -4 0? Like when 0 confuse the brain that's wrong.
It's confusing your brain. Okay. This is so remember when we talked about interval notation? With interval notation, unless I'm asking for an ordered pair, I could see why you think this is an ordered pair if I was looking for an ordered pair. But because I said that we're writing it in interval notation, interval notation is where you also are listing out X values, where they start and where they stop. Okay. So this is just, these are both X values. This one represents where you start, and this one represents where you end on that function. Okay. They come from here. So if you look here, this -4 came from here, and this 0 came from there. They're not a point on the graph. It's an interval to describe what's happening. Got it? All right. Now we're going to do the same thing, but this time we're going to do decreasing. Okay. So we're looking for our intervals of decrease. So as I read the graph from left to right, I notice that this is going down. We already know that's not, but then here we're going down. So that's an interval of decrease. So this graph has 2 intervals of decrease. Are they connected? No. So notice this time, because they're not connected, we write them separately. Okay. And again, X marks the spot. So my X here is, and my X here is. So this interval of decrease is from -6 to -4. I can shorthand write that as parenthesis -6, -4. Okay. My next interval starts at and ends at. So therefore its interval is 3, 6, 3, 6.
Will it always be listed?
Yes. When you're writing it as a compound. Okay, and we didn't connect them because they're not connected. Does that make sense? All right, lastly, we have our constant, and our constant is from, where does it start? Where does it end? So from 0 to 3, that's the inequality, and here's your interval notation. How do you feel about writing intervals of increase, decrease, and constant? Good, doable? Okay, so at the bottom of your page, you have the formal definitions of the two. So when we are talking about intervals of increase, we're looking for when our x value, our x1 is smaller than our x2. But as they're increasing, the y value here is also smaller, right? Because not only are my x's increasing, but so are my y's. When you're decreasing, even though your x values are increasing, what are your y values doing? They're decreasing. Your y values are going to be going down. Okay? And for constant, what's happening? Everything is equal, right? Our x's are increasing, but our y values are equal. Got it? All right, any questions about intervals of increase and decrease? Awesome. So what you're going to be doing for the rest of the period is working on your 1.3 Canvas assignment. At this point, you should be able to do 1.3A and 1.3B. It's over by my computer.